Hello guys, this is from Mrs. Abby. Today my hubby will be doing some repotting. He will be repotting some plants that really need to be repotted right now. I know many of you are concerned about repotting your indoor plants in the winter. So while you watch him repot, I want to address the issues whether you should repot your indoor plants in the winter or not. In this video, you will learn four things. One, the reasons you shouldn't repot your indoor plants during the winters. Two, the reasons to repot your indoor plants during the winter. Three, some steps to take before you repot your indoor plants during the winter. And four, what to do after you repot your indoor plants during the winter. First, let me say, it is a myth that you can't repot during the winter. So the issue should not be can you repot in the winter, but should you repot your plants during winter? Second, there are some reasons not to repot your plants during winter time. Here are some of those reasons. Reason number one, the dormancy period. When a plant becomes dormant or gets in a resting state, they shouldn't be disturbed. During this period, they become inactive. Their growth rate might slow down or completely stop. They might lose most of or sometimes all their leaves. So because they need the rest and there's no growth, there's really no need to repot them until the growth resumes. Reason number two, the dormancy requirements. Dormancy or resting periods are needed for some indoor plants. Getting the proper amount of rest will stimulate the plants to be stronger enough to get better roots, beautiful, longer lasting blooms, and major plant growth, not to mention the better overall health of the plant. The best thing you can do for a dormant plant is to not repot it, trim it, nor prune it. Let the plant rest. Leave it alone. Repotting could awaken them from dormancy, and you don't want that. Reason number three, the changing temperatures. When your plant is used to a warmer temperature and is used to being repotted in warmer environments, repotting them in colder temperatures might shock the plant. Exposing the roots while repotting it to the cold air inside your house can damage the roots of the plants. Reason number four, the lack of enough daylight. During summer, there are longer daylight hours, so the longer the sun is shining on the plants, the easier for the soil of the plants to dry out. When you repot a plant to a larger pot during winter and it gets less daylight, your plant will stay wet longer, which can cause bacteria and fungus in the soil, pest problems, and root rot. Having longer periods of wet soil can also cause the plant to have yellow leaves, and spotted brown leaves, and many other plant problems. So if you don't have to, don't repot. Thirdly, what if you have some plants that really need to be replanted in the winter? Then I say to repot them, just like what my husband is doing right now while I am discussing this issue with you. Here's a few list of things that might require you to repot your indoor plants during winter or cold season. The first reason is if the plant is root bound. When a plant is so root bound that it is causing issues with the plant, it should be repotted immediately. The second reason to repot during the winter is the roots are coming up through the soil and sitting on top of the soil and being exposed to the cold air. Then repot. The roots need to be completely covered in the soil to get the proper amount of nutrients during winter. The third reasons to repot is infestation. The soil the plant is in might get infested with bacteria or fungus or insects. Then repot. But first remove all the soil from around the plant and replace with completely new soil which is filled with good nutrients. The fourth good reason to repot is if the plant is lacking in nutrients. If you think the plant is low in nutrients, then go ahead and repot it now. Or you can refresh the soil by removing some old soil from around the plant and the top of the plant and replace it with some new good soil filled with the proper amount of nutrients. The fifth reason that you might want to repot. Your indoor plant is accidentally knocked over or dropped. If that happens, you have to repot it as soon as possible or repot it immediately. But guys, if you have to repot and you are concerned that repotting in the winter could possibly hurt your beautiful plant babies, I have some good news for you. I have some basic steps you can take if you live in a cold zone and you really need to repot those indoor plants. Here are the steps. Here are the steps you can take to safeguard your indoor plants while repotting them during the winter months. Step number 1, keep all your plants in a space with constant temperature, a constant level of sunlight, and a constant amount of sunlight before repotting. Your plant could go into a state of shock if you repot it in a room with a much lower temperature than it's used to. Exposing the roots to a lower temperature than it is used to could damage the roots. So keep everything constant. Therefore, when you repot it, it won't shock the plant because there will be no change in environment due to you keeping the same temperature inside the house now and year round. What you could do is keep the temperature in your home constant for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Allow the plants to get used to that temperature and then repot. Step number 2, repot only in a one size larger pot. Repotting in too larger a pot can cause the soil to stay wet too long and can cause the roots to rot, pest issues, and soil bacteria. If possible, try placing the plant back in the same pot by removing the old soil from the plant and placing it back in the same pot and adding new potting soil filled with nutrients. Now, after you decided to repot, and after you have repotted your indoor plants in the winter months, these are some things that you can do to continue to protect your plants after repotting them. 1. Keep the plants warm. If you're warm, then the plant is warm. 2. Water them with warm water until the plant gets used to the colder water, but gradually reduce the temperature of the water to cold after repotting a plant. 3. Reduce the amount of water you give the plant. Never allow the soil to stay wet, so reduce the amount of water and the frequency of watering. 4. Make sure the water is properly drained from the plant. I mean, all the water should be drained from the plant. 5. Never let the plant sit in water during winter months before or after repotting it. 6. Don't place newly potted plants near windows or doors that receive cold drafts. 7. Don't place newly potted plants in a dark or low light area in your home. They need the sunlight to make their food and to help dry the soil quicker. So sunlight is needed in winter for newly planted pots. 8. Don't fertilize your newly potted plants. Hopefully, you use a good nutrient-rich potting soil already filled with fertilizers. Okay, guys, I hope you understand what I'm talking about when it comes down to repotting your plants during the winter. And I hope you enjoyed those tips. So if you would, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.